Yeah,
This meeting is being recorded.
there you go. Everybody knows we're being recorded now. So I'm going to turn the time over to Ellen. And if you want to, you can set your screen so you can go up in the upper right-hand corner and you can click on view. And if you want to, you can put on speaker and it'll show just whoever's speaking, or you can just leave it on gallery and you can see everybody. So Ellen, the time is yours. Tell me what you need.
Okay. Lesson today is about robocalls. I wrote it because during one of our meetings, there was a lot of confusion about what robocalls were. So if you have the leader's manual or the leader's copy, I'll just pretty much go through that.
Well, they don't have the leaders comp, they have the participants.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, robocalls is the first in the leader's manual is what is a robocall. You want to back up just a little bit. I wrote this as a leader's guide for a discussion. I thought this was a really great item or discussion piece. And the more the club or the study groups talk to each other and learn what is and what isn't, and get the history that they know, the more everything sinks in. So, without ado, a robocall is a phone call that is initiated through computerized auto dial system to dial a random number, and if answered, pass the phone call to either an AI, artificial intelligence, robot, or an employee. The Robocop is, what is a Robocop? So, I mean, robocall is a AI or robot system delivers any type of message that is pre-programmed or passed on to an employee that uses the pre-written script and is not allowed to detour from the script. I got the impression that our study group thought that Robocall calls was a person. It was the person behind the call that you get. And that's not really true. A robocall is simply a robot dialing numbers when it's an automatic dialer. Lots of different companies, types of people, types of groups use auto calls and robocalls. One of the question I have is one of the robocalls is thought by many to be a recent invention, but do you know the year robocalls were first launched? Any guess?
1983.
1980.
You're very good.
I'm reading it.
Oh, excellent. Someone printed it. Yay. The first robocall was launched in January 1983, which is quite a ways back in technology, when business owner Tony Incentives, pretty close, uses his telemarketing machine from his collection agency business to announce his candidacy in California. I'm kind of skipping through words. You can take it or just use it as background for yourself. The robocall computer system is relatively easy to incorporate in selling and information systems. Robocalls are suddenly more frequent than the average household can handle. Robocalls are monitored by legitimate companies, but used also by illegitimate ones. The different types of calls, robocalls are not necessarily legal or bad. From your own experience, can you remember a good call? And to help move the calls along, because I know how well we talk and discuss things, I have some good robocalls that went out. Messages that are purely informational, robocalls about your flight being canceled, sorry about that, reminding you about an appointment or letting you know about delays, school openings fall into this category. That's used, an auto dialer used on that. Debt collection calls, sorry about that, but that is done by an automatic dialer and is considered a robocall. Political calls, please vote for me and send money. Calls from some health care providers, time to refill your prescriptions and upcoming program announcements. No, appointments. Got a bad eye today. Messages from charities, church functions, garage sales, and please send money. So all those calls are good ones. They're not necessarily the ones we get all the time, because any illegitimate company will set up an auto dialer. You can buy an auto dialer through Amazon and just set it up and there you go. The idea of robocalls was invented for convenience, useful messages. The calls quickly developed into sales calls, and questionable organizations immediately began to use misinformation for monetary gains and to increase in numbers, becoming a nuisance. Cell phones were introduced into homes and quickly became additional contacts. Again, you can read onward, but a robocall will dial random numbers. If someone answers the call, it's considered good. And when there is a good number, it's put into its own little file. They get enough good numbers, they sell them to illegitimate places will buy them. Salespeople will buy them. Spam people and junk on your computer, ads that come down, totally inappropriate. So they're they get sold that way. And when it first started up, cell phones were introduced into the home and quickly became additional contacts. The reason is cell phones are so want to have cell phones is when the cell phone rings, you answer. It's not like a landline who you can say, I'll get back to it. But when the cell phone rings, 99% of the time, it's answering. I'll get a solution for that. The cell phone was quickly regulated by the FCC, the Federal Communication Council, that introduced fines and penalties to companies contacting customers through cell phones without recorded authorization. The reason they did that when the cell phones first came out, you paid per minute out or per minute in. And because we were spending somebody else's money, we had to get permission for it. I say we is because I worked in a collection agency during that time. The large companies got around that permission is they put in their terms and conditions is if you lose, you automatically agree to terms and conditions. If you signed up for a card, your signature automatically gave permission to call cell phones. And then later on, it was the landlines were included in on it. just because they can. Less legitimate companies just ignored the requirements. They didn't care. As smartphones were continued to surge, landline phones are indeed becoming an afterthought. In 2004, over 90% of households in the United States had landlines. According to the data of the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, today that figure has plummeted down to about 30%. So there are many, many households that's given up the landlines. And one of the questions you can give is, did you give up your landline?
Nope.
And if you gave it up, are you using your phone? Are you screening your calls? What? Discussion question that I put down is, have you received multiple calls in one day? Are you able to distinguish between good and bad calls? And I have, please keep your answers short. And you add that to your discretion. My group talks a lot. Oh my gosh, what is this? Okay. Sorry about that. Unknown call numbers. Oh, again, earlier I covered that unknown calls numbers are silenced and sent to your voicemail and will appear in your recent call list. I'm sorry. Calls from unknown numbers are silenced. When you have a cell phone, every number that is dialing into you usually shows the number from which that call was made. And if you live in Oregon, 791 is part of the Portland area, and so is 503. Well, if you get a phone call from 804, unless you know somebody from there, you can consider that call not many. I mean, maybe it's somebody you shouldn't answer. Maybe it's somebody you answer and you get upset and you want to scream at them. We had lots of those calls too. I mean this in the nicest way possible. But a robocall is not a person that first answers the phone. So getting upset with it and wanting to do something about it, like blow a whistle into it or click the button several times or hit 0 a lot to try and get somebody, it doesn't work. If you answer the phone, you can wait a moment and it goes to a person or it goes to the automated system for an automated message. After you listen to the automated message, a lot of times they'll say, do you want to speak to somebody who will clarify this conversation? And if you're very clever, you don't. Smartphones have a tool called call screening that's built in and works automatically. So when you have a cell phone, you have the ability of stopping those calls from coming in once they're made. I have a list about 40 phone calls that I have blocked. As soon as they come in and I know it's a Robocall, I go down and just simply say, do not call. So that sometimes works, that sometimes doesn't, but the amount of robocalls I get have certainly decreased, which is cool. If you have a landline, now this is a little bit different. A landline, you have to have something between your phone and your headpiece. And to do that, there are little tiny gadgets that you can buy most technology stores, Amazon, eBay, things like retailers such as that will intercept the call before you answer it. And that will put up on an LED screen or a digital screen, what number is called, or if I call you, it'll say Ellen Bradley. Or if your grandson calls, it will be John Smith is calling. If it's your doctor's office, usually it will have your area code on it, and you might even recognize the number. You can let those calls through. But if it comes up a number that you don't know, you don't have to answer it. I mean, a phone is not written in our daily lives that you must answer it. It's simply a tool. So these calls come through, and the carriers who have who carry the phone calls are getting pretty clever at this, because they'll have a possible scam written on it, or it will have a number unknown. That's when they don't announce what phone number they're calling from. And that you can block no, you can't block those, which is a bummer. Sorry. So that's how you handle that. And there are numbers here on the leader's guide that will help you through it. One of the ways a robocall works is if you do speak, the way that you can help yourself not get robocalls or get hooked into sending money to John Smith because your granddaughter is stuck in Washington, D.C. and can't get home and has a broken leg. That's one of the scams that have been going around recently. When you get a call that you don't understand, if you do accidentally lift up the phone to your ear, don't speak. Don't say a word. Just simply hang it up as quietly as you can, because calls can be
I'm not
recorded.
this you.
I'm sorry?
That's my phone.
Callers can make
It's
a recording of your voice and use it to authorize unwanted transaction simply because you said yes. Does somebody have a question?
don't want them. I mean, I don't want them.
I have a friend that probably would want them.
Right.
They stick on my fingers.
One of the reasons you don't answer the phone or say anything is because they'll consider your number maybe not good. The next time they call through, you can recognize the number and simply not answer it at all. And that's when your number will be considered dead.
I'm not. It's a talk on
On
people
Zoom.
get robocalls.
Oh, okay.
It's supposed to tell me some things.
Okay. If you do talk on the phone, they'll voice record you. If you say yes, you'll be surprised on. They can use that yes as authorized, like, I want to take $100 out of your bank account. If you say yes, the bank hears the word yes, and they will record your call and send somebody else $100 out of your checking account.
And that's
If your caller urges you to take any action, don't follow the instructions. Pressing keys or following instructions should be avoided because it will only confirm that you're a real person and lead to more calls. They sell them. If you prove that your number is good, they'll sell them and you'll probably get 10 more. If the caller provides a number that you should call back, oh, for goodness sakes, don't ever do that. Not only will you prove that your phone number is correct, they'll be put on the special list because you follow instructions. So everybody will want to talk to you. If the caller asks for personal information, oh goodness sakes, do not ever give your phone, your social security or your bank account number over the phone. It is, if they insist, it's a scam. If they even ask you, it's a scam. When medicals call you up to confirm that there's an appointment or something, at least mine asked for my date of birth. Okay, they can know how old I am. That's all right. But if they ask for my social security number, no. If they ask for the last four of my social security number, I'll think about it. If they ask for my bank account, oh no, not even. I even hate to give out my email address. That irritates me also. As you can tell, as I'm reading this leader's guide, the leader's guide is for information for yourself. It doesn't mean you have to read it word for word. You can jump ahead or any. Limit at least some unwanted calls by listing all your numbers in the do not call registry. Okay, I have ATT and I have a smartphone. If I get a call with a number that I don't want to, I go in and I click on make contact. As soon as it's set up as a contact, the screen pops up. And if I scroll all the way down to the bottom, it says do not call. If I click that, I'll never get that phone call again. Cool. And it's free. That's even better. If you have a landline, you can ask your carrier if they supply a monitoring machine item. And if they do, you can ask for it. If they say, well, it costs you $29, you can whine a little bit. I'm old, I don't have the money, and I really want it free. And Linda May
Yes, I
got
could,
it free.
I was told it was going to cost $69, but he said, for you, it's free.
There you go. See? Oh, also tell him that you've been a customer for 500 years.
That's
That'll
right.
work. Got it. Yes. Report robocalls. There. Okay. So if you get this call that is dialed by the automated dialer and it's a robocall and you don't understand it and you don't want to have anything to do with it, do not press numbers because that signals the auto dialer they've reached a live number and can lead to more calls. Also, the government has a website that you can click on to give them the information about that call. And I've listed the link in on the leader's account as also the members packet. It's ftc.gov/imposters. I thought that was clever. The limit at some unwanted calls by listing all your numbers in the do not call registry. So if you have a number that goes to your home line and you have a separate number that goes to your cell and your husband has a separate number that goes to his cell and you've got two kids living in your house, you're going to list 5 numbers with the do not call. Listing one doesn't work because you've got all those other numbers going on. And you might want to tell your kids about this, about not answering the phone unless they know who's calling. For one, it's for their safety. For the other, it's just to get rid of those calls. A new system that's been set up that I didn't list in here that I guess I should have is if they know that you're a live call and if they know that you're a cell phone, they can track where your cell phone is. It's a new option. So not only can they listen to you and say yes, so they've got your number and you've said yes and they've recorded it, they can also whatever find person and locate where you are. Not a good idea. I took my number off of that, and took me a little while to do it, but there is a system on my phone that will stop the tracking. You'll have to investigate that on your own carriers and your own cell phones. They're all different. Report robocalls to ftc.gov/complaint. The more that they hear from you, the more that they know what numbers are calling in, the more they can fight the spam. If it is spam, now you have to watch out because some of those robocalls are legit. Some of them, the majority of them is just, do you want a credit card? Whatever. They're not. And for us who have Social Security, around the time that we re-up the insurance from October to January, the robocalls increase like 100% because they'll call you and say, Providence Insurance is really great. Give me a call and I'll tell you how to do it. And there are all different kinds of insurance companies that will call you and say, please consider us when you choose your insurance. Well, I think those aren't robocalls. Those are legit because it is part of the insurance. They're irritating because you've already got one, but you can call the complaint and tell them about it. Maybe they will take it under consideration, but it's not a scam. They're looking for scam numbers. One of the oldest RoboCop scams, and I heard of this about 10 years ago, and it's still going on, is the Nigerian, wow, was that spelled wrong? It's the Nigerian gang or connection. They've been attacking individual cell phones in the US. The most infamous scheme is faking calls from your grandkids who are stranded somewhere, needing your money or their power to turn off, and again, needing your money. Okay, so we got a call. My dad got a call, and it said your granddaughter Brianna is stuck in Washington D.C. She's got a broken leg. She has to pay the hospital to come home, and because of that, she'll need about $1,500 to get a ticket from Washington D.C. out to the West Coast. Well, my father, who is just terribly clever, said, I just talked with Brianna this morning and she's at home and wanted a recipe. And he said, no, you have more than one granddaughter named Brianna. And my father would say, what the heck are you talking about? I do not. And they go, well, are you going to let her just sit there? I mean, this guy did not hear anything my dad was saying. And my dad just played him along because my dad loves to do that. And so finally, the guy on the other end hung up, which is unusual because you have to hang up usually. Another scheme is to say you won money, but they need your bank information and Social Security number to deposit the winnings. Now, this one, unfortunately, I don't know why, is very popular with the Nigerian people because people in the US go, oh, cool, I got money. Here's my bank account information so you can deposit it. Well, they've got yes, because you said, yes, my name is Ellen Bradley. So they've got the yes, even connected with, yes, this is Ellen Bradley. So they've got that piece of information. Then they get your bank account information, and you can bet your bottom dollar you're going to be broke because they will take as much as they can. If you tell them what bank you're at, they can scan through and find the information. there is pages on your computer that's called black pages. You don't want to go there, trust me. They have a lot of indiscreet phone call, indiscreet websites for people who have a problem. And then they have websites that will help the person in there get phone numbers, the last bit of your social security numbers, your driver's license numbers. They can get this information a lot. So to stop this, it's best, just don't even start. If they say, well, I'm from Nigeria, just hang up and call and go to ftc.gov.complaint. This to deposit winnings. This is the ultimate scheme. With this information, your money will disappear quickly. Reversing the transactions will take a long time to research. It is almost impossible to get your money back. They usually put up on the screen a fake number. They're not calling from that. Maybe it says they're calling from Israel or Canada, but report those numbers anyway. I don't know, maybe they can trace it that way. As countries develop, the technology to run robocalls hubs will increase. We can keep safe if we're aware of the different types of calls and how to handle them. Please pass the website and information to all. So then I put down where I got the information from. And one of the parts I would recommend is ARP. They have a lot of information, just plain articles on there that you can read about the robocalls. And I know a lot of my information that I give out is silly because I make it silly. But this is really a very important thing to know. And it can be controlled as long as you're aware of what's going on. So that's about it. I summarized quite a bit of this. There is more information there. And the leader's guide, the
Participation.
members guide have all kinds of cute little
Yeah. I
cute
noticed
little
that.
pictures.
You want me to bring that up,
Pictures.
Ellen?
Can you put up the very last page?
Yeah, I'll just have to find it here. And is that in the members guide?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay.
So my grandson, bless his little heart, has now if you scroll all the way through for the last page,
Okay.
he has watched with my brother, who is also disgusting. One more.
Oh, I like that one.
Okay, keep going. One more. There you go.
Ah,
My brother
there you
and
go.
my grandson watch zombies. And so my grandson, who is autistics, now lives in a zombie world. He's always telling me that carrots are the best food that zombies eat and things like that. So as soon as I saw that, I had to put that up. It's sillier and all get out, but I just love it. So
Ellen?
anyway, what?
I was just going to say on page 4 of that members guide, there is the little box that I got free from CenturyLink because and when I called, I told them I was going to cancel because I couldn't use my phone anymore. I had to turn off the sound, and it was just driving me crazy from early morning till late at night. And I'm supposed to try to keep from having stress because I've had a heart attack due to it. So the man said, "Oh, I think I can help you." And so he comes back on, and that's what he had sent to me, works. And now
Wonderful.
I'm using my landline again.
excellent. Now, remember, you don't have to answer the phone. You can
Right.
turn the ringer off. And I have a message on my cell phone that says, I don't answer phone calls. Leave your number and message, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So that's something that you can do, because I do not answer my phone. Everyone in my group knows this. And Miss Chabelle down at the bottom really gives me crap because I don't answer the phone or read my messages.
Or call me
But-
back, or call me
but-
back.
Or call you back. I know, I got it. Anyway, it's that you can also do. That's my way of handling those calls. On the second to the last page of the
Bring it back up.
manual, you can see this. I can just throw this up. You can see this. This is a flow chart. What happens when a phone call comes through? And so they dial your number. Oh, wait a minute. They start looking at what's going on. They put your number in the auto dialer. A voice system answers it. They are proofing your caller ID and making sure that you're a real live person. And so you go through, and the phone callers pass through all these little places in it. It's a computer, and then says phone carriers. And then if it hits the phone carrier and it's your phone carrier, you've got the call. So that's how they work. And they've been doing auto dialers for, well, like I said, since '83. When I was working at a collection agency, we got the auto dialers about '91 because we were a legit company. The other ones just went to Amazon, bought it, plugged it in, and started calling you. So, any questions about this that I can answer or refer you to?
Ellen,
Yes?
I thought I'd tell you that when I was in a Walgreens store, not too far from here, this was about a year and a half ago, and I was just shopping, and I bought some, some gift cards. And when I went up to check out, the lady said to me, I know this is none of my business, but I thought I'd ask because I know she realized I was a senior, and she wanted to know if I was buying these for anybody other than family, so that if it was a robocall and they were forcing me to buy, credit
Right.
cards. And I thought it was pretty nice that they, I told her I appreciated what she was doing, but this was definitely a family cards. But I mean, even the businesses now are kind of watching seniors.
Right. And how wonderful it is.
Absolutely.
Because the seniors are the most clumped together group that do not have computers and doesn't want computers, and find out that even cell phones are, why would you have a cell phone? It rules your life. Well, yeah. But it's kind of interesting. It's my cell phone is my portable computer. I do Amazon and shop on it and look at my bank account every day, but I've never had a problem. I don't answer strange calls. Another thing that can happen is if you buy a particular item on Amazon and it is a third party, you can get a whole lot of information over the phone, and calls that you don't want and emails that you don't want from these companies, because you bought something from them, and in their terms and conditions, if you bought something from them, you give them permission to sell your account and sell your information. So that's, if you read down, you can say no, and then they won't talk to you. Yay. So there's that.
We've had a couple of very, well, we could have gotten took because my husband's 84. And one of them come in about October 18th. And that was the day, I think that was the day that we buried my sister-in-law.
Oh, goodness.
And I wasn't home, but my cousin had come out and we wanted to talk. And my husband met me at the door and says, we have problems. Justin's back east. He's been in a wreck. They want $15,000. This lawyer does. And they said that he had been driving and that he was injured and in the hospital. I just knew in my heart it was a con, and I told him we'd talk about it later. Well, he was really frantic over it, and he come to talk to me again. I said, we'll talk about it later. It's a con. And anyway, they were trying to get him to send a bunch of gift cards and so on and so forth. And he didn't tell me that originally. And we had another one come in, I can't remember, it was probably a year and a half ago, and they reversed charges and they were going to hit us, Verizon, for like $90 for this reverse call that was supposed to be coming from Haiti. And I didn't know anyone over there, and I never gave anyone permission. But my husband had also taken that, and it had to do with publishing house, and I had sent some of that in. I decided all the information coming through the mail on that publisher house was probably a con, so I don't answer any of it because,
Yeah.
mail-wise or otherwise, because, and I did have another question too, but I mean, I got really concerned. I mean, I tried to stay on top of everything because they keep changing everything all the time.
Yes, they do.
That I have a question.
Yes.
If you say hello when you answer, can they do anything with it? Because I hang up as soon as I know it's a robocall, and we don't get any of that other stuff to speak of.
As soon as you say hello, they know it's a real live number.
And but I don't always know that it's not a person that I don't know, because I can't always hear all the numbers.
Right. At this point, I would suggest contacting your telephone carrier and asking them for a device that will help tell you what number is calling.
Oh, well, they do. It comes on and tells, our whole phone system tells what number it's calling, but I don't always hear all of it because where the phone is located, I mean, if I'm half asleep or something, I don't always hear everything, or if I'm in another room, I don't always hear everything.
You might want to contact your carrier anyway and talk to them and tell them the problem, and maybe they'll have a solution for that.
And
the carriers are charged to solve these problems. The FCC, Federal Communications System, tells them that you're responsible. You're handling these calls. You're going to be responsible for figuring out how to stop it. And so I would return that information to your carrier and let them decide what to do with it. Put it in their pocket.
Well, my husband does get calls for his prescriptions and stuff, and I don't want any of that to stop because it would cause him problems.
Right. It's the individual numbers that the US is trying to collect so they can decide scam and not scam. And if they can trace it back to a person or a call center or a robocall hub, they will take legal actions. In one of these things, in one of the pages, the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, actually sued a robocall / hub, collection hub, for not fixing the problem. And they were charged $10,000 per call when they didn't fix it. I have no idea what the end is or if they actually had to pay it, because as soon as that came down, that the FTC won, they'll turn around and put it in for a dispute. Forget what it's called. Anyway, a dispute. And so you have to do it all again, make sure it's correct.
Well, the other thing is, can somebody that has called, we get a crackling on our phone. And I wondered if they have attached something to our phone system where they can monitor our calls. Can anyone do that? Is there anybody that can do that? We are a landline and I only pay like, I think it's about $27 or $28 counting my money order, because they had, Verizon couldn't, they put a system in that they couldn't take the money out of our account when I wrote checks. So I have to get money orders for Verizon, but we only have a landline and then we have our prepaid cell phones. But we get these calls on our prepaid cell phones too. And we
Yeah.
didn't used to.
When you get a call on the cell phone, on your prepaid cell phone, does it announce who's calling? Does it announce a telephone number that's calling?
Well,
Is it
we
in your
don't have
screen?
a fancy, we don't have a fancy one. We buy $100 card a year. Well, I think it's $100 and 74 cents. And that's for all year. And we don't use our cell phones enough. I had over 3,000 minutes on mine. I traded with my daughter, so she'd use the minutes up. And I mean, I've got, well, it's in my name, but it
Yeah.
was husband's phone, but it's in her name now. And when she uses my minutes up, then we're going to give that cell phone to my husband. He never turns it on. And then she's going to get like about 4,000 minutes on his because he never turns it on.
Oh my gosh. Well, if you don't turn it on, they won't get the number.
Well, I have mine on because I get calls. I mean, I'm keeping hers on and I am answering it now because there was, Scott would try to get me and I didn't realize, that, he would call her and then he didn't have the number. So I finally turned it in and let him know because I'll probably have it for a year or more. But I may use all her minutes up because I've been using it sometimes.
Scott will call you that many times.
No, I'm talking about calling my daughter when we talk a couple of hours.
Oh, there you go. Well, if you do answer
My
your phone,
landline goes dead.
oh gosh. If you do have a landline and you do say hello on the phone, just simply hang up as quickly as possible because there's usually a gap. I'll pick up the phone sometimes. I really doubt it, but I'll pick up the phone and there's a gap. And as soon as I hear dead air, I don't want the call. I'll just hang up. And then I won't answer the phone for the rest of the day.
So that's the
Because-
reason why, isn't it? Excuse me, I was just going, you said dead air. So that's what they're doing. They're trying to find out if it's a live number when you don't hear anything. Okay.
Right. They
There we
make
go.
money on selling numbers. So they've got 50,000 numbers. They'll get $50,000 for it or something. Probably not, but it's a figure in the head.
Mhm.
So I don't have the exact information, but it's out there.
Yeah.
And
Well,
with the phone tracing, if they know your phone number, they have the ability of tracing your phone call, your telephone. But I don't know if they use it. Kathy,
Yeah, I was to get back to this telephone thing. When you get a call, like a grandma, grandpa call,
uh-huh,
and they go rambling on about stuff, and they just ask them, what's my grandson or granddaughter's name? And 9 times out of 10, they don't know what it is.
Right.
And
Yeah,
they'll
but
wait,
they
and they'll
do.
wait, and then all of a sudden they'll hang up,
And at that point, try and get the telephone number and then call the complaint line. No,
Yeah,
the complaint line.
yeah.
And tell them that, got a robocall, they wanted a lot of money. And
But that saves a lot
I
of,
don't-
it saves a lot of time because they can stutter and whatever, and they can't go on. You just keep saying, and then hang up. And that's,
well, we
they-
were a call center of about 150 people, and we dialed manually out. And the most calls I could dial out in a day was 300 calls. And that's if nobody answered. If somebody answered and took up 40 minutes of my time, I could probably dial out 200 calls. Not really good productivity. So then when they got the automatic dialer, it can dial out 10,000 calls and then simply pass them on to whoever is on the dialer at that time. And so as soon as I hang up the phone with one customer, I've got another one right there at the next time. So I never have to stop. I never have to dial the number. Very, very easy to use. And because it's that easy to use, people and companies who are not legit will use it.
oh,
They'll
yeah.
go online to Amazon, buy one, costs about $500, and they'll make a lot of money off of it.
Mhm.
And normally calls come from the Philippines or India. Also, I think Israel is one of them. And that's because they're all English speaking countries. They've got bad dialect, but they do speak English. So there you go. There's a lot of things out there, and just be aware of what's going on. And if you don't like the calls, for goodness sakes, don't make any sound on the call, just simply hang up. And don't answer your phone for the rest of the day. I'll give you permission to go ahead and not answer the phone, and I'll give you permission to knock it off on your cell phone saying, I don't answer any calls. Leave your phone number and a message, and then I'll call you back. And then never do. So Kathy yells at you.
What happened with the Verizon call? They couldn't do anything in Prineville for me, but we drove to Redmond because it was the main one.
Uh-huh.
And they took care of it, and we didn't have to pay the $90. And they, I don't know whether they reversed it back to them or what, but we didn't get, well, we have gotten another one or two from Publishing House, but those are coming that one come from Haiti.
Oh, goodness sakes. Yeah, they speak
Okay.
English. Yeah.
So, but anyway, that's what we did, but you couldn't take it care of it over the phone. You had to do it in person. So if you
Yes.
don't have a place you can go in person, you may not be able to solve your problem.
Yeah, every carrier is different. And every carrier, I kind of walked out of one job because they would never reverse the extra charges. The grandson got a hold of the phone and charged up $1,000 worth of minutes. And they would never reverse it. I thought that was very bad business practice, and so I left.
And the calls we got in on grandsons, one was years before, they had the name. The one from the lawyer, they had the right name. So you got to look out, even if they got the right name, but you know it can't be them.
Right.
You just better be careful because they're out there to take you for everything. And the reason I answer my calls the majority of the time is my grandchildren have such odd numbers that
Yeah.
like they're 999 on a prefix, and I can't even think of all the different ones. But and when I can recognize a number, but I can't always recognize them because I don't have all of them memorized.
Yeah,
Didn't they used to
well,
say call, didn't they used to say call the parents if if they want to, if they're calling about your grandchildren? They say, well, I'll call her or his parents and find out. Let them take care of it.
yeah, that's one of the things my dad always does. Well, hell, why are you calling me? Go call their parents.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, dad swore. What can I tell you?
And then, and if they say don't call his parents, that's another lookout.
Mhm.
Well, they won't say.
Well, yeah. Well, anyway, it's been a real, I do thank you for letting me write this. I think it's an important information. There are typos in my work. Why not? And I'm going to look through it, and make sure it's correct again. So I thank you very much for letting me do this. Hopefully you think it's informational and you can get a discussion going with your group. I am writing another one that's on body shaming and not body shaming. It's on anyway,
Mhm.
it's on body shaming, whatever.
Mhm.
I like things written down. Anyway,
Well,
so
thank you anyway.
hopefully I will get that one out also. And yes, Kathy.
I just want to say, I appreciate what you've done. You did a nice program, and I think it's very informative. And I thank you for that, taking the time to do it.
Oh, well, no problem.
You know,
It was fun. My husband doesn't think it's fun because he had to listen to me, but I thought it was fun.
Well, you
So,
did a good job and we appreciate it.
terrific.
Thank you.
If
also,
you,
don't forget your volunteer hours on this.
yes, ma'am, I've got it written down in my book.
Okay.
If there is comments that you would like, you can give them to Scott, and Scott, I'm sure, will forward them on to me. So anything that you think is totally wrong, let me know quickly so I can send out, this is totally wrong, do this instead.
Thank you.
Okay, that's the end of it, unless you've got another question, and there you go.
Well, Ellen, I thank you for doing that. And if you'll send me the revised editions, I'll email those out to everybody. And if you just put a revised date on it, so I can figure out
Yes.
which one I need to send out. Anyway, on that, and I really appreciate that. I would like to mention that for those that are still on here, I'm looking for someone. Well, next month I have one from a gal, and I did not write down her name. And Lavonda will tell me who that is. But she's in Hawaii, and it's going to be on TEA. You know.
Ooh, how
Anyway,
fun.
it sounds really good. Go ahead.
No, I
That
just
is-
was saying, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Her name.
Or her name is Joanne Aquiri, and she's given several topics on our on the T, because
Okay.
she's like a specialist.
Okay, so it'll be a really good one, another really good one. And so, and I am looking for people the rest of the year. So if you know anybody, or if you'd like to do it yourself, and obviously you can see that you don't have to be a professional, you just have to be someone who's interested in sharing some information with them there. I would like to take just a minute. All of our lessons are done, and I'm going to actually show this. I'm going to share this. Where'd it go? Oh, this is actually our Oregon FCE website. And you can see it right here, and the address is right up here. It's www.oregon- make sure you put the little dash in there, fce.org. And then if you go down and you click on the little thing that says, there's actually a couple of places you can do it, Zoom lessons on YouTube. And so they're right there. You can use those. And then you go down and there's the whole list of them from last year. And those are links for YouTube. And I'll actually end up putting one in there for the lesson today when I get through recording. So you can see it there. You can see on setting time priorities in Ireland and preventing food waste and the whole gamut there, products of the hive. Several of those are really good. Some of you are in there, some of you were not. So anyway, so you can go look at those. Any questions or comments before we head off?
Thank you, Ellen, for presenting the lesson.
What's the date?
For next
Today,
or,
the 5th.
or next month?
Oh, next month.
Well, it'll be the first Wednesday at 10 o'clock Oregon time.
February 2nd?
Yeah,
February
will be.
2nd?
Yeah, it'll be February 2nd.
Okay, thank you.
I'll send an email out on that. I've already been working with her on that. I've got her bio and I've got a little blurb on it, and I'll be sending that out in the next few days. And I usually try to send out near the beginning of the month, halfway through the month, and then a few days right before the presentation. Because if you guys are like me, you forget. I got to have a
Yeah.
reminder myself. And
I
thank you
wonder-
very much. And thank you for everybody being here. I see lots of you from Kansas and Tennessee, and I don't have anybody from Alaska, but lots of them from different states. And I appreciate that. I'm glad to be part of this.
Thank you,
Scott, is it-
Scott.
All right, well, you guys can chat all you want until I'm gonna
Thank
turn
you,
the recording
Ellen.
off. I'm
You're
gonna turn the recording off.
welcome.
And